of a super force of radio DJs, specially trained and sent by Star FM to bring back Party Radio every Friday and Saturday, 7 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Are you ready?
Shot in the arm. Just what the doctor ordered.
It's exactly 9:30, Star FM sounding good all the time. Happy to be joined in the studio by Coach Tafadzwa. He is a teen and twin coach. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Terry. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. And today we're looking at cyber parenting.
Mm-hmm.
What is cyber parenting?
I was going to ask you that question, actually.
What is it?
And now you started.
Guiding our kids on how to use the internet, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
Something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually had a discussion about it in the office, and then I was asking people what they think cyber parenting is. And quite a number of them were actually saying cyber parenting is parenting online, so talking to your kid or something online. But my definition of cyber parenting is guiding our children on how to use the internet responsibly. So I'm going to start with a story. As you know, I do one-on-one coaching sessions. So a lot of times I get an opportunity to have one-on-one, face-to-face meetings with preteens as well as teenagers. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with this 11-year-old boy, and then he asked me a question that was very weird. So what I normally do in the one-on-one coaching sessions is after a session, I give the preteens or the teenager an opportunity to tell me whatever it is that will be in their hearts. I give them an opportunity to ask anything that may be on their hearts. So he asked me a rather weird question. He said, "Do women grow pubic hair?" So I was really taken aback. I wasn't expecting such kind of a question.
This is an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, 11-year-old boy.
Okay.
And we were talking about something not even related to that, but then he comes up with this question. So, like I always do, I kept a neutral face, and then I quizzed him further because I wanted to understand where exactly was this question emanating from. And then talking to him, I realized that so as you know, normally kids are asked to do their homework, to research on the internet. So he borrowed the aunt's phone. So after doing his homework, he decided to, you know how it is, kids love to experiment.
Through pictures.
Yeah, so he went through pictures, and then he got to see his aunt's nude pictures. And then this is where the question was actually emanating from. So we ended up having to discuss about pornography and all. And I asked him if he understood what pornography was, and his understanding of what pornography was those films. So because this was something closer to home, this involved somebody he knew. To him, he didn't think there was anything wrong with it. He didn't think it was pornography. So the reason why I started with this story is this. Sometimes when I talk to parents, they'll tell you that, well, I haven't given my child a phone yet. So they are assuming because my child doesn't have a phone, they are not exposed to the dangers or to the risks associated with the internet. But even if your child doesn't have a phone, they have access to many gadgets. You don't know what they're looking or watching when they're in school. Maybe they have computers in school. You don't know what they're seeing and getting exposed to when they use their friends' phones or when they use your relatives' phones. So it's very important that we learn how to cyber parent. We learn how to teach our kids to use the internet responsibly. Just saying that we haven't given them their phones or taking their phones away isn't enough. Of course, it gives us a false sense of security because we are assuming that because the phone is away, then they're not going to be exposed. But still, they will be exposed because we are in the internet age, and the internet and phones have become a part of our culture. There is no way a child is going to live without that exposure. So,
okay, I'm just a bit worried or concerned. Concerned is more like it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this child spoke to the aunt, or this child kept it to himself?
Actually, no, he didn't. He didn't
talk to.
He didn't talk to the aunt, and the aunt isn't a girl. It's actually a grown up. like she's old enough to be his mother. So,
Okay, so if this child did not come to you, and I'm thinking there are a lot of children who may not have this opportunity that the 11-year-old boy had with you, what then do they do with these pictures that they would have seen?
well, you never know. They could just send them, like, forward them somewhere, or they end up actually getting addicted. Because when I talked to this guy, he was saying that now each and every time he wants to do his homework, he makes sure that he looks at those pictures. So it was slowly becoming an addiction. And yet the parent didn't know, and even the aunt didn't know as well.
I think even beyond just forwarding the pictures to someone, it's doing something inside the child.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, psychologically, emotionally, and all of that stuff. And then Mwanano Kurari messed up, and you don't even know. You have no clue whatsoever where this came from.
Yeah,
because as a parent, you are saying, mwana wangu anaenda ku Sunday school, mwana wangu tinotaura, we have a good healthy relationship, but I ndisutomboziva kuti mwana akaenda go through minding his phone and has seen this, and now is addicted and is struggling with these things. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, for now, let me just go through some of the risks that our kids are exposed to through the internet. So basically, there are 3 types of risks. I think I've talked a little bit about this in one of our programs, but I'll just repeat. So the first type of risk is content risks. So this is what kids can be exposed to. We've just given an example of pornography. They can be exposed. And it's not always that they're looking for it. I don't know if, Tari, you've been in one of those groups. It could be a church group or whatever kind of a group where somebody posts a wrong video, and then quickly they just leave the group. You know, that's a funny thing. I wonder why people do that. If you leave, we still know who you are. So sometimes it's not even that they will be looking for this kind of information, but they just get exposed. And it's important to talk to our kids about this. And then they're also exposed to fake news. Even adults, we're exposed to that. You know, somebody can just write something, pretend to be an official from the Ministry of Education or from anywhere, and then they spread fake news. And for kids, it's actually worse because they haven't grown to be able to actually discern between truth and falsehood. So they can easily be misled by fake news. And then they can also be exposed to violence. You know, we're now in a world where a murder can be live streamed. You know, something very scary, something very dangerous could be happening, and somebody is busy, like taking photos. You know, I'm sure you've seen photos of accidents.
It's all about hits. It's all about hits.
Oh, yeah. And our kids can be exposed to all this as well. And whether they have a phone or they don't have, they still can be exposed. Remember, they go to school, and maybe some kids at the school have got phones, and they're going to go around the phone and watch these videos and watch these pictures. So it's important that we also have conversations with our kids about all this content risk, because it's something that they are definitely at one point are going to be exposed to, no matter who they are, no matter where they are. And then the second type of risks is conduct risks. So this is how we end up conducting ourselves because of the exposure we have on the internet. So one thing that's very popular now with teenagers is sexting, whereby they send each other sexually explicit messages or even sending nudes. So it's something that they've learned from the internet. And you know, I always say this to lots of people. Sometimes as Zimbabweans, we pride ourselves as a conservative society, and we say we don't tolerate nonsense. But factually, like if you look at the ground, normally somebody whose nude pics leaks or whose sex tape leaks, they become popular. They become very popular. Everyone is talking about them. They get invited in places and all. So it's actually trendy. We say one thing here, and then the results on the ground don't actually show that we are that conservative. So you can imagine, here is a teenager. Tariro, you are the role model. And then you send your explicit pics on your Insta or on your Facebook. You being their role model, they're going to think that's the way to go. And they're also going to start to do the same. Actually, I have an example on this one. So I once had a session with this girl. So what was happening at their school was they had a kind of a secret beauty pageant. So what they would do is...
Secret?
kind of secret because the authorities at the school didn't know.
Okay,
But
okay.
all the students knew, so it was secret in that sense. So what they would do is they would post their pictures on Insta, on Facebook, and then the person who would have the highest likes would be the Miss that school. I won't mention the name. I won't mention the name of the school. So it wasn't necessarily every student was on it, but some students were on it. So this girl had been the Miss Chakuti for a very long time.
Okay.
And so now she was kind of proud. And then a newcomer came to the school. And then
Yes.
this newcomer introduced a new thing. So she said, it's not enough just to post your pictures. We now need to introduce the swimwear pictures, that kind of a thing. So this girl who had been taking the crown for a long time then sends her picture there. And after sending a picture, this picture, it wasn't really nice. People started commenting about what she was wearing. And then one of the friends said some very nasty comments about what she was wearing. And then a couple of other people followed in saying those nasty things. So she then got emotionally drained and depressed as a result of all this that was happening. So at the end of the day, what did she do? She got so depressed, but she couldn't go to the authorities and tell them the real reason why she was depressed, because obviously the school authorities didn't know about the existence of this secret pageant. So at the end of the day, she got so depressed until the teachers noticed. So they went and told the headmistress, and then they tried to ask her, tried to find out from her what was really happening, but she couldn't open up until the headmistress had to send her home. She was a boarder. And then she came she came home, and then that's how I then got to meet her. The mom then sent her to me for a session, and then we discussed it, and then we realized that was the root. So teenagers are also exposed to cyber bullying. They send pictures on the net, and then people start saying nasty things. Like in her case, people started commenting about her body and saying all those nasty things. And at the end of the day, she was emotionally depressed as a result. And these are things that are happening, and as a parent, you've got no clue. I couldn't even tell the mom that that was the issue, even though she had brought her for the one-on-one coaching sessions. But fortunately, at least, we managed to talk through it, and then she had the strength to go back to school.
To the same school.
Yeah, to the same school. So this is some of the things that our teenagers get exposed to, the way they start conducting themselves as a result of what they're learning on the internet. And also, there's gaming, there's social media addiction. Sometimes it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and a teenager is online. They are addicted, and that can also affect even their studying patterns, because now something has gotten through their WhatsApp, something has gotten through their Facebook, and they want to respond, and they're killing their productive time just doing that. So all this our kids can be exposed to. And then the last type of risks that our kids can be exposed to is contact risks. So I'll give an example of WhatsApp. I'm sure you've seen that there's a new feature. It's no longer new, actually. It's been there for a while, where you can actually create a group link, and then you just send it around, and then anybody can join that group. So sometimes teenagers create groups, right? And then they send out the group link, and then anybody can join. And sometimes these people who join these groups are not even teenagers themselves. They could be like adults. And then these adults take advantage of the kids. I mean, they listen to the conversations, they hear everything that the kids are saying, and then maybe they inbox.
Hey.
And that's how catefishing starts. Somebody can pretend to be a 17-year-old, and a teenager can actually date that man, yet maybe the man is in actual fact a 50-year-old or a 45-year-old. And these are things that most teens don't know. And this normally happens to teenagers who get their phones a bit late. So once they get their phones, they're too excited, and they don't know anything about this. They just post TMI, too much information, and then they get themselves exposed, and this end up happening. So now I'll get on to solutions. What I think, because today we're actually talking about cyber parenting, what I think as adults or as parents we can do.
How how do you create the balance of giving your kids the freedom that they all seem to want and expect from you as a parent or a guardian, with talking about these risks that are there and also the benefits of having the internet, because we can't run away from it. They have to use the internet to do homework, and even us as adults now, we are so addicted.
Yeah, we're addicted to it. Yeah,
we don't quite apply ourselves. We just go straight to Google and we give them the answers. So now kana mwana ati kure